experts are invited to have a free discussion following one question. And you, as a whole community, would choose this question right now. And please pick one topic that you are interested in particular. Those topics are quite tricky, but they would be the starting point for the discussion for our experts. So, dear experts, now please unmute yourself, all of you. And then the question that you will have, it's inclusion, human rights, active citizenship, or empathy. Which is a key to quality from your experience?
They're all topics which can be tackle in a project. It's not something what will make the quality better. Because, for example, we have the local national volunteers, which are kids from foster care. We give them 1 year of between the foster care and going into society. We give them this 1 year of learning opportunity. And that's like a support program, which from their perspective, our perspective, we think we are doing quality work, but it's up to them to decide and see and, use this like something useful for their life. Like always, we need to take care when it's about human rights in order to offer a quality project, because we always bring people. We have volunteers from Jordan, from Morocco, from Europe, from non-EU countries. And we always need to take care to respect those needs and specificities of each one of them. I always tell to my colleagues, listen, if for her it's something very important or for him, let's try to find a solution. There are sometimes issues which are, you can put them in human rights, things like respecting some customs or traditions or all those things, or trying to accept volunteers which don't speak English, which means inclusion. And we are doing this. If they are coming two from the same country, we don't care if the one of them don't speak English. We have now, for example, three Turkish actually, which two of them, one of them zero in English, the other one very weak. But after 2 months, 3 months, now they start to actually communicate and it's no problem. I think it's up to each one of the NGOs which are working in this field, how you tackle this and what you understand through respecting human rights, inclusion, and all the things. We are an NGO working mainly with Roma and ghetto communities, and we see it like offering equal opportunities to everybody. It means also something very connected with the quality of your project, because to make projects with people who speak very good English and they're very good teachers or drawers or I don't know, it's very easy. We don't do projects to do it very easy. We do projects to offer opportunities, life opportunities for young people. And that's for us, I see that's for me a quality thing.
I find it as a very difficult question. I was thinking about this. There is no good and bad or correct and incorrect answer, I think, to this. For me personally, maybe empathy, if I had to choose one, empathy would be the core. And it's also about understanding what do we mean by each of the terms used. And for me, as Dagna was mentioning, with partners, for example, we have to empathize with everyone. And if there is no empathy within the team, within the NGO, within partners, and volunteers are meeting so many different people. Like for me, empathy, it's understanding and readiness to help, to share, to contribute. So it's the only reason why I just chose it now as the core. But I think the communication and understanding is the core value. Everything else can then, and it's kind of part of human rights. If you empathize, you respect human rights, probably, and you're inclusive. And active citizenship, maybe I see somewhere else. But if I had to choose one.
So if I can add something, I obviously agree with Daniel and I agree with Nikolina. So, however, what I would change is that those aspects to me, they're not the relevant to quality. They're about relevance of the project to the principles of the core program, and also relevant to the local community in which the project is actually taking place. So if you focus on social inclusion, and that's what the need is in your local community, and that's what your project is addressing, and if you manage to make an impact with your project, you already have quality project because you've achieved what you wanted to do. So to me, those are not about quality, those are about relevance. And as relevance is one of the assessment criteria, elements of assessment. When you submit your proposal, the experts working with UK, the national agencies, are looking how this project is relevant to the priorities of the program, and how is it relevant to the local communities where the project will be taking place? How is it relevant to the young people and the needs of the young people, and also the needs of the organization? If you take one of those, it can be relevant, and it can always be of good quality. Yeah, I wouldn't say you have to have all of them to have good quality project. If you take one and make it relevant and achieve the impact you wanted, that's good quality right there.
There is one question in the chat, which is about the volunteering teams. This is the topic that we have not touched yet. Dear experts, how you see the quality and volunteering teams in terms of the values and management, quality management?
Actually, being a shorter term, maximum 2 months, I think it's more challenging. If you don't have a very good team, which to plan very well everything from the beginning, and to be able to also be very flexible to the needs of the volunteers, I think you will face problem in this field. We had in the summer a group of 40 volunteers for 1 month and a half, 45 days. The biggest challenge for us was, beside the pandemic and everything, was to find the common ground to evaluate and to, reach the needs of the most of the group, because you cannot, it's very hard to go individually to take every person, but at least you can try to get a common understanding of some interests and try to satisfy those and try to develop those things and expose the volunteers to as many development and learning opportunities as possible in that short time. It's much more intense. You need to have very good procedures put in place to evaluate the impact of your work, not just in the community, also for those volunteers who are coming for 1 month, 1 month and a half, or for 1 week or 2 weeks in your country. And we always have the team building, we always have common evaluation, planning together, and things like that, which actually are making the work being better. Because if you start a group volunteering with 3 days of team building, where you are planning together with the volunteers the work which need to be done, like you win a lot, because everybody become friends, everybody communicate better, everybody knows the common goal. It's not like going to each group or each person explaining it. Here I will name it like the key: good planning for the short term, because you have a short time to do things which to influence that person.
I've noticed there was one answer also concerning this question from Morag, saying that the teamwork is super important before, to make them as a team. To this, what you have said, that was an additional comment. And there is a chat going on and about some regulations. And here, thank you, Eva, for answering. Dear experts, anything to add to that talk? Is it possible to have a win-win situation? That was the second about the impact question that you have chosen. How it's about you, how it's realities and the needs of participants and needs of community and your needs. Is it possible to make it a win-win?
I would say it is possible, but it's very difficult. Again, it is possible. Why not? I think there is need for certain flexibility, as Daniel also mentioned. It's important to plan activities in advance. Also, we have many partners on the project, like not support organizations, but also within Croatia. So our volunteers are visiting and helping, assisting in their work with many partners. It's very important to clarify what are our expectations. Then also, I think it's very important to talk with volunteers before they come and really present the project that it is. Some people say even you have to say them the worst scenario, but they have to be definitely aware of everything happening. And they know that they have the right motivation, because I feel like not everyone understands what is this project about. And then during the project implementation, again, like we have to discuss everything, but it has to be very well planned. But I think also there should also be backup plan for everything. This year was especially interesting because I think none of the project went like it was supposed to. So what is important to finally have win-win situation? Maybe it won't be as we imagined it in like just months before starting the project implementation, but when it starts, so that if something is not going like we wanted and someone is not satisfied, that there is enough space to do certain changes, but that we still stay within some ideas.
Thank you very much. There was a question in the chat about what are the areas for the volunteering. So maybe my question, like going another side, is there any area that the volunteering is not possible? Interesting. No? So how it's about, okay, please, I see some heads going this way.
I think you can involve volunteers in any kind of activities as long it's safe for them, like it's not affecting their safety. We have done a wide range of activities from schools, elderly centers, like gardening, ecological gardening, teaching the community how to do this, entrepreneurship. Now we have online journalists. They are doing online journalism. We have online radio. We discuss with the local journals, and they have their own share in those websites. I don't know. We teach languages. We support people to develop social businesses. We offer support to other NGOs who need volunteers. We promote volunteering. We built houses. We painted schools. We planted trees. You can do anything you want. Just you need to see what's the need of the volunteers and to not do a project because you want to do it, but do a project after you discuss with the local authorities, with the local community, and see what are their needs, because the volunteers will not stay 100% working for you. They will work for that community. It's not important what you need. It's important what the community need and also what the volunteers need, because many times before to write a project, actually always that's supposed to be, you send the email to your partners and ask them what kind of volunteers you have, what's their interest, what they want to learn. That will be ideal. Like, you know that it's needed for those young people, and then you discuss, and that also the community have the same needs. You put them together in a project, you see how they match, and then you develop that idea as a project, which for sure will have much higher quality if it's developed like that. Then if you just do a project, then search some people randomly who you put them to do something what they didn't do all their life. It's also that possible, but for that you need to invest a lot in training, in preparing those volunteers, because if you put a volunteer to work with kids and he don't know nothing, you need to help him. And after he will learn how to deal with those kids and will see that he's doing good work, then your project will win a lot, because also the community will be happy, also the volunteer will be happy. And yeah, it's
what I understand, Daniel, that you say also about the quality is not only during the project, it's before and after. It's all the process needs to be quality.
It needs to be a process which you put in place, which is like, we are evaluating our work not based on projects, which are important also, but based on long-term impact in our community, based on long-term partnership, not just with the local people, but also with the international. Our way of working with volunteers, all the materials which are made by a trainer from the national agency, one of the pool of trainer of the ANA, created that book of training for mentors, and we share it with all our partners. Like, it's important to, if you have some good, you give it. Also, we ask our partners to share with us what is good and what not in their work.
Daniel, thank you very much for that. And there was also the answer from Eva. Volunteers can work on any project as long as it provides a rich experience in informal and non-formal learning with this awareness of a value, which is promoting value solidarity. When I scroll the chat, there's a very interesting question about the COVID reality. What about adapting activities to COVID circumstances during the service? How flexible are different stakeholders, NAs, NGOs, volunteers, support person? How it is from your experience? Could you share something?
I think NGOs have to be flexible because this is just something unexpected. It's nobody's fault. Nobody could the worst scenario planning. I think nobody could expect anything like that. So we just have to be flexible, find different activities, listen volunteers, their feelings and so on. And our volunteers were really reasonable. I would say they knew that this is the situation that happened. And it's also, again, it's not our fault. So they were during lockdown on the island. We were very lucky actually because they could still do the field work. So they were not really locked down completely. And I can see now talking with many different NGOs that we were super lucky. And I can see from Catalyst Croatian National Agency, they're also quite flexible. They adapted to the situation and they offered us different possibilities. There are some new ideas, like even support with COVID tests and so on. So I would say that everyone was very flexible.
Here, when it's about COVID, there are two aspects, the ongoing projects and the new projects. Because it's not fair to bring a volunteer in a new project which didn't start in this unsafe situation. Actually, we postponed our activities because you will take 1 year, or we usually do 9 months, 1 year stages. To take 9 months of the life of a volunteer just to bring it to Romania to stay in home, if he was expecting to work with kids, it's not fair. We tell them from the beginning, or we postponed. But when it's about this, we tried to adapt. If they worked in school, we created an online tool for teachers and kids to go online, and we have hundreds of movies, how you do different things for the kids from schools. But at the same time, we bought 10 sewing machines and we made masks. They felt that they're saving the world because they made the mask, and we give them for free for disadvantaged communities. You need to adapt to give them a reason, not just to fill in the time to do an activity, to make something online, or I don't know, but give them a reason to be motivated. Okay, I'm doing this because it's good. Also, the volunteers are more motivated to do things if you show them that they are doing things for a community which deserve that, and it's good. Always when you adapt your activities, think on those aspects. I do it to fill in 6 months of projects, or I do it together with the volunteer, discussing with him to make him feel useful and to feel that he made something in this time in my country. We didn't have any volunteer who left from Romania, even if it was pandemic. I think that's a good sign.
Thank you very much for the answer. There's some ovation here and there, I see. Thank you, Ani, for this active participation. And there was also some comments in the chat that some projects could not happen because of the travel issues. Do you have any experience with that the project cannot be implemented as it was planned?
You postpone or you adapt. It's not connected with us, but we implemented in September youth exchange. September, and 2 days before, actually with Croatia, with Meraki, 2 days before to come, one of the participants had COVID, and it was a bilateral. They were 20 young people. We discussed and we postponed for the next 2 weeks. They got tested, at least the guy got tested, and they were okay, and then we meet. You need to be flexible in this time. The key word is flexibility and adaptability. You need to adapt to the reality of that, because at least me and my team, we are kind of skeptics in planning on 1 year or 2 years. Even if we have everything planned and very strategized but now at least after the summer, you need to adapt. We had a volunteer who came from holiday. He had his last week and he was in holiday 1 week. He came back and he said, I'm doing the test to go home. And he was positive in the test. He didn't have any symptoms, nothing. Our luck was that he was not in the office. He was in holiday, he just went to hospital. And he told us, I'm having COVID. We changed all the tickets, everything, we adapted to that. We put in quarantine, like it's something unexpected, but you cannot, or we have even now a volunteer whose stage ended 1 month ago already. We prolong it, it's already 13 months, and we will prolong it 1 more month, put it on force majeure, because he don't have planes to leave from Romania to Israel. Like, you need to be flexible and to adapt, and of course to be reasonable, and because we cannot put those people on street or things like that. You need to think they're our colleagues.
Thank you very much, Daniel, Nicole, Daria. She's always, I see she's active in the chats, and thank you very much for all the answers. And now we close slowly the whole discussion, which is totally inspiring. It only also underlines how important community is and how important is that the communication, the organizations are in contact and they can support each other. And the network and strategic partnership, as you were mentioning, Daniel, from your side. Like, if you could think about one sentence to finalize all this discussion, something that you would like to share, highlight, best practice, something with this community in this times particular.
We need solidarity very much in these times, not just from international, but also from local level. If we are thinking that it's bad, just try to get out of your city and look at the community which are at the edge and go back in your bubble.
It's hard to sum it up in one sentence. I just think in these times we have to be full of understanding and flexible and communicate, and everything will be fine.
Thank you very much for that. Also giving a hope and a way how to keep it. Thank you. It means that's it. We officially closed Zoobowl as a free discussion with chat and you as a contributors.